it's Nikki here, and I just realized I am at the wrong script. I'm here today to do the quintessential summer book tag. Could I have picked better weather for this? Yes, I could, but it's overcast and I'm bulk filming today. The prompts are created by the Bookish Cat, which I will include a link for her video below. If you guys are wanting to do this tag, that's where you can get the prompts. Just remember to credit the original creator. With that, I'll just jump right into these prompts. First one is ice to drink, pick a refreshing book. For this one, I actually picked the Murderbot series, which is more than one book, but hear me out. They all have a very similar tone. You have this sassy, socially anxious, robotic/cybernetic mercenary who adores watching soap operas, helping humans who she really kind of hates because we're squishy and dumb. And it has just been so interesting following her. It's been hilarious and touching and just nothing that I have really read before in a lot of sci-fi. It's funny in the way I found like The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy funny, but it's two totally different senses of humor. But it's that same kind of entertainment level for me. You guys gotta go read it. The second prompt is cotton candy. Pick a book that is light and fluffy. For this one, I went with one that I read recently, and that was Effie Drake Starts Again. You start the book following this woman whose husband has died about a year before the book starts, and she has this little kind of apartment unit attached to her house, and she rents it out to her best friend's good friend. And it's kind of the adventures of them in this small town, helping each other out, her to kind of deal with the death of her husband, him to deal with being essentially a washed-up athlete. Sunglasses. Pick a dark book. I went with Radium Girls by Kate Moore. I loved this book, but it was horrifying. And to me, just like the women who died from this in this book were instrumental in getting labor laws established. And when people are like, oh, we don't need that, like it's like, no, you do, because when they weren't there, you weren't protected. And I just find it so depressing and horrible and just wrong on so many levels, and I just find it very dark, even though it's a really informative and amazing read. For a picnic on a rainy day, pick a sad book. For this one, I went with one that is constantly on my mind, and that is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I don't know what it is about this book. It's one of the few books that has given me a bookish hangover. I really don't get them that often. And it's been like 2.5 years and I still think about it. I highly recommend it. You can maybe see it in the background. It is on my best of all time shelf where I keep my books. 5. Sand. Pick a book that irritated you. Now, I have many books that irritate me. And they irritate me for different reasons. I'm gonna go with one that I didn't like and irritated me, and that is Carrying Albert Home by Homer Hickam. I didn't love the book. It had some kind of like Big Fish vibes, which was cool until it got super repetitive and I felt like every obstacle was just draining by the end. However, the irritating part, the part that turned me off the most, was how, I think her name was Elsie? I can't even remember now. I just blocked it from my mind. Just the way she acted towards her husband, it's like, if you hated him that much, you shouldn't have married him and just lived your life. I understand the pressures of the time, but hot damn, could you not have reevaluated that man that you married because he wasn't as bad as you thought. 6. Summer Blockbuster. Pick your favorite book to screen adaptation. For those of you who are new to my channel and are tuning in, and this is one of your first videos, I do book to movie adaptation reviews for movies every month. And in my journey over the last 2.5 years, my absolute favorite has been the Lord of the Rings series. They were these amazing blockbuster movies that were just so well crafted and shot. The cinematography was amazing. The soundtrack was mind-blowing. And the best thing of all is they were made for fans of the books. They kept so much in there. And I mean, it's easy to do that when you're doing a Tolkien book because he uses 30 pages to describe a scene, which you just use as your setting. And then all you need is the dialogue, and the books are half the length. But that is by far my favorite book to screen adaptation that I've watched so far. 7, the prompt is dropped ice cream. Name a book that you were looking forward to but were disappointed by. And for me, I'm going to go with To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. I had really high hopes for this because I love sci-fi, and his Aragon series, which is a fantasy YA series, is supremely well loved to this day and was incredibly popular when I was a teenager. And unfortunately, I just couldn't get behind it. It had some serious pacing issues. Although I loved some of the found family vibes that you got, this pacing was so atrocious for my reading experience that I had a really hard time getting into the story and pushing through. And this was a beast of a book. It was 800 pages. 8 is Palm Tree. Name a tall book that you love. I took this literally, the tallest book on my bookshelf is this Ancient Civilizations, like, non-fiction travel picture book thing that I got from my grandparents years and years and years ago. But my real answer is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Just the specific edition I have is very tall. You can kind of see it in the background, maybe. I don't know if it's in the background. It's on my favorite of all times bookshelf, and it is the bottom of the pile because it is the longest in the pile. 9 is Bonfire, a book you want to burn. I have to admit that as much as I have disliked a great number of books I've read, Dr. Zhivago, To the Stars My Destination, every book other than the first book in the Selection series, none of them would I say I would want to burn, because the books I've read, even though some of them haven't been amazing and I haven't enjoyed them, none of the books I've read have been so horrible or offensive that I have just wanted to get rid of it and take that content out of the world. So I don't actually have an answer for this one, because if I think I'm gonna absolutely hate a book, I'm not gonna pick it up. And 10 is my final prompt here. It is fireworks. Pick a book that just exploded onto the scene. And I'm gonna go with The City of Brass, because I remember hearing so much about it when it came out, a year after it was out, up to now. It still is just so highly revered. But like, especially when it first came out, it was just people found it so amazing, and I totally get the hype having read it finally this last year. But like, to me, that's a book. I'm also not up enough on like new releases to really know those, so that's what I'm going with. And remember, if you guys want to do it, the link for the original video is down below. Make sure you credit the current creator. And if you disagree with any of the books I said here, or you want to like even just tell me what you guys are going to be reading for the summer, I'd be super interested to talk with you about it in the comments below. With that, I will see you in the next video. Peace.